We like to think the entire world is ours to explore. We think that if we buy a plane ticket, we can go anywhere. But we are wrong. There are places on Earth where you are not welcome. Places where the history is so dark, the ground so toxic, or the locals so hostile that setting foot there is a death sentence. Governments have wiped these islands from travel brochures. Navies patrol their waters to keep you out. From a rock in the Atlantic crawling with thousands of venomous vipers to a jungle where a lost tribe will kill you on sight. These are the places you cannot go. And if you do, you won't come back. Welcome to the Darkest Files TV. Today, we are counting down the top 5 forbidden islands you are banned from visiting. We begin at number 5, just a few miles from the romance and beauty of Venice, Italy. But there is nothing romantic about Poveglia. Locals call it the Island of Madness. For centuries, this small strip of land served as a dumping ground for the diseased and the dying. When the bubonic plague tore through Italy, anyone showing even the slightest symptom was dragged screaming from their homes and thrown onto Poveglia. They were left there to die in agony. Legend says that 50% of the island's soil is actually composed of human ash, the remains of over 100,000 bodies burned in massive plague pits. But the horror didn't end with the plague. In the 1920s, the island was converted into a mental asylum. Patients claimed they were tortured by the ghosts of the plague victims, but nobody listened. The asylum's head doctor allegedly performed brutal lobotomies using hand drills, until, according to the story, he was thrown from the island's bell tower by an angry spirit. Today, Poveglia is strictly off limits. The Italian government has banned tourism, but those who have illegally rowed close to its shores report hearing the phantom tolling of the bell tower, a bell that was removed decades ago. At number 4, we travel to the cold waters of Scotland. From a distance, Gruinard Island looks peaceful, but for nearly 50 years, stepping on this grass would have killed you in days. During World War II, the British government needed a place to test a terrifying new biological weapon: anthrax. In 1942, military scientists took a flock of sheep to the island and detonated a bomb filled with Bacillus anthracis spores. The results were immediate and horrifying. Every single animal died a painful death. But the scientists made a mistake. The spores didn't just vanish. They seeped into the mud, contaminating the entire island and making it uninhabitable for decades. It became known as Anthrax Island. For half a century, it was one of the most dangerous places on the planet. Even breathing the dust there could cause internal bleeding and death. While the government claims to have decontaminated the soil in the late 1980s using hundreds of tons of formaldehyde, many locals still refuse to go near it. They say some curses can't be washed away with chemicals. Number 3 is not forbidden by a government, but by nature itself. This is Ramri Island in Myanmar, the site of what the Guinness Book of World Records calls the deadliest crocodile attack in history. In 1945, during the brutal combat of World War II, about 1,000 Japanese soldiers were outflanked by British forces. Refusing to surrender, they retreated into the dense 10-mile stretch of mangrove swamps covering the island. It was a fatal mistake. The swamp was the hunting ground for thousands of saltwater crocodiles, the largest reptilian predators on Earth, which can grow over 20 feet long. That night, British soldiers stationed outside the swamp reported hearing a cacophony of hell. One commander wrote, "The scattered rifle shots were punctured by the screams of wounded men crushed in the jaws of huge reptiles." By morning, out of the 1,000 soldiers who entered the swamp, only 20 were found alive. The rest had been devoured. Today, the swamps of Ramri remain a no-go zone. If the thick mud doesn't trap you, the monsters hiding beneath the water certainly will. At number 2, we have a place that sounds like it was ripped straight from a nightmare. Ilha da Queimada Grande, better known as Snake Island. Located 90 miles off the coast of Brazil, this island is the only home of the golden lancehead viper, one of the most venomous snakes in the world. Its venom is so potent, it literally melts human flesh on contact to help the snake digest birds. The density of vipers here is unprecedented. Researchers estimate there are between 1 and 5 deadly snakes per square meter. That means if you were standing on the island, you would never be more than 3 feet away from death. The last people to live here were the lighthouse keeper and his family in the 1920s. According to the legend, one night, snakes slithered in through the windows. The family fled into the forest, only to be bitten by vipers hanging from the trees. None of them survived. Today, the Brazilian Navy strictly forbids anyone from landing here. It is illegal, it is insane, and it is suicide. And finally, at number 1, the most forbidden place on Earth, North Sentinel Island. Located in the Bay of Bengal, this island is home to the Sentinelese people, a tribe that has been isolated from the rest of the world for roughly 60,000 years. They do not want us there, and they have made that very, very clear. The Indian government has established a 3-mile exclusion zone around the island. Anyone who crosses it is attacked. In 2006, 2 fishermen who drifted too close while sleeping were killed, their bodies hooked on bamboo stakes facing the ocean as a warning. But the most famous tragedy occurred in 2018, when an American missionary named John Allen Chow illegally paid fishermen to drop him off on the shore. He believed he could convert the tribe. He wrote in his final diary entry, "Lord, is this island Satan's last stronghold?" The next morning, the fishermen watched from a distance as the tribesmen dragged John's body across the sand with a rope tied around his neck. His body was never recovered. It remains there to this day. North Sentinel is a reminder that some places on this planet do not belong to us. And if you go there, you are on your own. 5 islands, 5 different ways to die. I want to know, if you had to survive for 24 hours on one of these islands to win $10 million, which one would you choose? The snakes, the ghosts, or the tribe? Let me know in the comments below. Stay safe, stay curious, and remember, some doors are locked for a reason.